Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambeau channel. There's no shortage of analysts that think that XRP is going to end up going a lot higher in the short term than it is right now. Don't forget that just slightly over a week ago, XRP was 32 cents, and then it blasted up to 55 cents, and now for the last few days, it's been hovering around that 50-cent mark for most of the time. And it's and not that every single analyst thinks that it's going to rocket up in the short term. Some are kind of iffy, a little bit in between, a little more indecisive based on the available chart data. But I will say this: it is always fascinating seeing the XRP haters, the chart analyst XRP haters out there tweeting that they believe that XRP is looking to go higher in price because they hate saying that stuff. So when they say things like that, my ears tend to perk up and I listen a little bit and I think it's interesting. And I don't care. Look, I'm not offended by people that have opinions different than me. I think they're wrong. I think it's ridiculous if they think that XRP isn't useful or doesn't make sense or this or that. And I acknowledge too, like there actually are critiques against XRP that are totally legit, even if I don't find them particularly compelling. But still, there's just something about some of these people that crap all over XRP, and then we see it blast off like this while the rest of the market is tanking. It's kind of sweet. It's kind of sweet right there. But before going further, I do want to be clear. I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice. And you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. As I record this, XRP is at 49 cents. Bitcoin is at just a hair over $19,000. Market cap for the asset class, rather, 957 billion. Bitcoin dominance at 38.11%. And the crypto fear and greed index didn't move one bit from yesterday to today. It's at 24 out of 100. So market participants still in extreme fear. And I have a feeling that XRP holders are not feeling quite as fearful as other market participants based on how XRP has been behaving for most of the last week. And so here is a chart analyst who goes by the name Murphy, and he does not like XRP. In fact, there was a separate thread either from today or it could have been yesterday. It was a newer tweet from him. And somebody said that in the thread that Litecoin and XRP are scams. And he responded, can't argue with that. I said, oh, okay, right. The decentralized cryptocurrency that nobody has control over, because it's a decentralized ecosystem, is somehow a scam. Okay, go ahead and explain that. So it doesn't make sense. People say these things, whatever. Maybe he's just playing to his crowd. I think a lot of those people are doing stuff like that. But still, he tweeted out the following. Even he didn't. He doesn't like XRP. He thinks it's a scam. He said, still think XRP wants higher. So look, again, when the XRP haters say this, I'm listening. Same for Michael Vanderbopp. He's been saying the same stuff. I don't recall if I've shared any of his actual tweets recently, but I've been following him too. Like most of the analysts that I follow, I follow a ton of them, so most of them I don't even share what they're saying necessarily in videos. But I'm aware of what's going on, and even he was in recent days saying the same stuff about XRP likely to move to the upside. It did move to the upside. How about that? And then there's chart analyst Leb Crypto, who has been citing for some time before we had this most recent burst to the upside. He was acknowledging, hey, it looks like there's a real good chance this could happen. Now, with where we're at right now, now that we've already seen that move to the upside, he seems to be a little less certain in terms of what happens next. But he did share this chart, and he wrote this about XRP. He simply said, decision time soon. And so you can look at this little, what would you call it, some sort of wedge thing? I don't know. I don't pretend to be a chart dude. It's just like, that stuff is boring. I love following learning about the fundamentals and doing research. I mean, it's kind of fun to look at price, but in terms of becoming a chart analyst, I'm just genuinely not interested. So I'm appreciative of other people like Leb Crypto who actually do find that genuinely entertaining. So whatever this is, the point is, and I've seen all sorts of analysts make these types of points before. You get to the point where the volatility, it looks like for a certain period of time, the volatility, and this is granted after a big burst, it starts to decrease. And so that's why where they draw these lines. I just know this is for, I've been in this for almost half a decade at this point. And so typically what happens, you get to this point where these lines converge and you typically get a notable movement one way or another. So the question is, once we get there, which could happen within the next day or so, is it going to be a big burst to the upside or some sort of notable drop to the downside? And that's why he's stating here, decision time soon. And he's not the only one. So I didn't pull up a bunch of tweets that were effectively saying the same thing, but there's no shortage of analysts that are looking at XRP sharing basically or exactly the same idea. So if that's right, then we're going to see something sooner than later. And so it's going to be up, it's going to be down, and then depending on who you believe, it would perhaps sway you to think it'll do one or the other. I don't pretend to know, but something's going to happen at some point. It won't trade sideways here forever. And in the meantime, all of crypto media is now paying attention. Like, look at some of these headlines. I don't even feel the need to read most of what's in these articles, but like, for instance, here's one from Crypto News. This one's titled, "Here's Why the Ripple XRP Price is Pumping and Will Take Out $1." Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to listen to you or take you seriously if you call the cryptocurrency Ripple XRP. I'm not taking you seriously. It is not 2017. It's inexcusable. It is XRP. And if you don't know that in 2022, ain't got no damn time for you up in this bitch, son. But hey, here's another headline from Crypto News Flash. "Ripple versus SEC battle leads to trader optimism and whale movement. Will XRP hit $10 soon?" I haven't seen headlines like that in a long time. It's just, well, inevitably, of course, when people get excited and stuff goes to the upside, I get it, and it's fine. But for me, I'll tell you this. My suspicion is that, and I'm not making a prediction, I've never made a price prediction for XRP, and I never will. My suspicion is that that price target for some point in the future doesn't sound remotely wacky. Not even remotely wacky. In fact, that wouldn't put it at Bitcoin's all-time high in terms of market cap comparatively. So I'm looking at that, I'm like, yeah, why wouldn't it have? If the asset class keeps moving in tandem, and presumably Bitcoin's going to be worth way more again in the future and probably hit another new all-time high at some point, why wouldn't XRP at some point, get to substantially higher levels than it's at right now? It's just interesting seeing them talk about this. But there really is stuff going on here. Like, look at this headline from CoinGate. "Whales add 270 million XRP. Will its price surge more?" And here's yet another one from the Crypto Basic. 395 million XRP moved by Ripple whales as XRP becomes week's top gainer. Everybody's paying attention. And then look at this one. I love this one. From the Daily Hodl, crypto analytics firm says XRP whales are in massive accumulation mode as the top altcoin outperforms Bitcoin. XRP is outperforming Bitcoin as the upward trajectory of the sixth largest crypto asset continues, according to crypto analytics firm Santiment. The analytics firm says that the XRP BTC pair has hit a price last reached in September of 2021, as crypto sharks and whales accumulate XRP. Santiment says that the surge in the price of XRP is driven by hopes of a potential settlement in the lawsuit the SEC, the United States Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, lodged against Ripple in December 2020. And here's a quote. "The price ratio of XRP/BTC has hit a one-year high of 0.000025 Bitcoin, which is 48 cents at that point in time anyway, on the continued optimism of a potential settlement of Ripple with the SEC. Active shark and whale addresses holding 1 million to 10 million XRP have been in an accumulation pattern since late 2020. So think about that. Ever since the lawsuit went down, the people out there with the most money who presumably anyway are a bit more sophisticated than the typical retail speculator out there, since the moment this lawsuit hit, the data shows that large whales have been accumulating XRP for the entirety of this time. So the trend mean upwards. Not that there weren't moments where it was going down, but the trend has consistently been in that direction. And you're seeing more of it right now. And it's just interesting to see that XRP burst up to 55 cents recently, and yeah, it came back down a little bit, but at least to this point, we haven't seen it crater further. Doesn't mean it couldn't happen, but it is interesting seeing that if that's the reason, if that's the speculation that resulted in all these people purchasing XRP, optimism for a settlement, it's just interesting to see that after this time, and time to emotionally process all this and think about the purchases they made, XRP is still where it is. It's not something where it just burst up and then people are like, okay, well, we're done now, and then they just sold it off. You see stuff like that happen too sometimes. At least to this point, though, that is not what has happened. Interesting stuff. Take a look at this also from chart analyst Will Clemente. He wrote the following. After months of waiting, for just the fourth time ever, Bitcoin's short-term holder cost basis has fallen below its long-term holder cost basis. This indicates a bottoming process. The next cross to watch for is a bull cross of the short-term back above the long-term. And so the reason I want to highlight this is, as always, to be clear, it's because XRP and everything else follows Bitcoin. And there's another piece of evidence to indicate that either Bitcoin has already reached its bottom, which it would have done in June, Or even if it does dip a little bit lower, okay, fine, it's so close it doesn't freaking matter. And so what he's saying here, and this is the chart on your screen right now, cost-based analysis, Will Clemente is pointing out that the average Bitcoin buy price for accounts that haven't been holding it for a long time is lower than the average Bitcoin buy price for accounts that have been holding it for a long time. And this happens at market bottoms, historically, as indicated on your screen, as a certain amount of people will always recognize that Bitcoin is dramatically discounted from its all-time high and are willing to take a risk that at some point in the future, it will be worth more. And so he noted there's a fourth time and there's no green over here. You might be wondering why. Well, he did clarify that in this tweet. Here, let me pull this one full screen now. He wrote, yes, it crossed. The green shading is just not showing up on the 12-year chart because it's only been 1 day. So this just happened. It's just, and I'll go back to the other chart for those that want to look again. But again, the fourth time ever. So, I don't want to look at just one metric to determine what I think is probable, but I've been highlighting for months now multiple metrics indicating that we've already seen the bottom, or we're really close, unless a wild card incident happens because the world's in complete and utter chaos. It's a dumpster fire out there. Outside of something like that, if history is to more or less kind of rhyme with itself, as it typically does, this is the bottom, folks. So there's only going to be so much more time where you can buy. If history repeats, more or less, there's only going to be so much time where you can buy stuff on the cheap. And I'm not telling you to buy. I'm just sharing with you my personal opinion. You do whatever you want. But that's the way that I'm looking at it. I think it's exciting as hell. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.